Hello, can you hear me? Oh, good morning. Melinda, how are you? Can you hear me okay? Or do you need me to turn the sound up? And happy Easter back at you too. One way to find out. Back at you too. Okay. So you can hear me. I have got a... Hi, Dawn McBride from Arizona. How are you? I'm going to go back in my little notebook, which I keep misplacing, which is why you see a variety of other notebooks. Hubby bought me a lovely new one to use after this one is used up. But it can't get used up if it keeps getting moved around by myself, can it? To have a look at some of the mysteries. Now, I had such fun. Hi, Amy Smith, doing the mystery tour. So I'm going to leave the wow signal for that. Went back a while, or maybe not here. Probably not in here. So I watched this video the other day, and it had a whole new top 10, things that science can't figure out, that scientists can't figure out. There were some extraterrestrial rocks that crashed on the African continent, and the outside was pretty much normal, I'd say, because they got, when they crashed, they were surrounded by the minerals and all that were from where they crashed. But the inside is stuff that are things that just don't exist in our solar system. Hi, Moonchild. I have not seen you for a while. Thank you so much. Bubby, you forgot the coffee, darling. He was going to do me a coffee, but he forgot. Oh, well, that's all right. So I thought I'd look at extraterrestrial rocks. Now, has anyone got some questions? It can be anything about an unsolved mystery. It can be disappearance. My night was really good. I had a lovely day off. We had a nice, easy Easter morning and stuff. Watched a few videos. I watched the football. Then we sat down together and we watched Blithe Spirit on Amazon Prime, which was absolutely wonderful. After we got the sound bit sorted out, because the cat turned the sound off and we can never remember how to turn it back on because somebody lost the remote. Hi, Carter Mancy. Hi, Linda B. Hi, Clarence Field. I put this at 10 o'clock because I know that some of you watched another group that do lives on Mondays, and I didn't want to intrude too much on them, and I think they're usually done by 10. So hi, Anna Mercedes, how are you? But anyway, so we watched Blithe Spirit together late afternoon with some high tea. We had, well, not really, it was just a couple of little slices, 2 different slices cut up into small pieces with a nice hot cup of tea each. And we watched Blithe Spirit. Hang on a moment, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. Hang on a moment. Get back to just a tick. Babe. Sweetie, coffee, please. Thank you, sweetie. You are so lovely. Thank you. I appreciate you doing it, sweetheart. kicking my butt. So, hi, Nancy Lee. Sweetie's just going to do me some coffee in a bit. So yeah, so we had a lovely, lovely Easter. I had a nice dinner. I did a roast. I did a full roast with some roast potatoes, which we don't have very often because of the diabetes and all that. I mean, considering the amount of times we have been so bad lately, not having roast potatoes, but we only do that like Easter and Christmas now. We do the roast a bit more, but not with the full veggies and stuff. Anyway, hi Clarence. You're having wine. Well, it is evening over there. But it's Monday morning here, 10 o'clock here, 12 o'clock over east, 12 daylight savings ended over east, which means New South Wales and Victoria are back to 2 hours ahead instead of 3. So it was a lovely, lovely, lovely Easter day. Very relaxing for both of us, except for it's the cat's fault. No, it's your fault for losing the remote. But we got the sound sorted out eventually after I kicked him out of the room and said, go out, go, make us a hot cup of tea while I sort it out. Marie Sutton, hello. It's so lovely to see you guys all coming and joining me for another fun, I hope, of mysteries and stuff. So I saw this video and it had a whole 10 new things, and I remember the extraterrestrial rocks first, and it said that none of the materials on the inside, like they were surrounded by minerals and stuff, materials from Earth, probably from where they punched in or got covered over time. Hi Jane Fingley English. Hi Tara S. Haven't seen you in a while. Laura Carlson. Hi Aria Song. And the inside were all minerals and all that don't have any origin within our solar system. So that is going to be fun to look at. And yeah, I am. I'm going to do a new mystery. I hope if you watch the new mystery tour video of the Beale paper, the Beale ciphers, I noticed I left the E off Beale on the, on the front. Sorry about that. I had such fun doing it. I'm doing another one, and I've got a different setup now. So, hi Kathy W. So I've got the extraterrestrial rocks. Anyone else got something they'd like to look at? Yeah, I meant to put in, I love roast onions with the roast, and I forgot to put the onions in. I was like, oh, okay. But, you can't remember everything. Hi, Lisa Wilkinson and Christine Thomas. Anyone got a mystery they want me to look at? I hope you enjoyed. If you did watch I know some of you did, I hope you enjoyed it. It was fascinating. The story that comes to me, and the words that come into my head when I see a card, what that card is telling me, what comes into my head. I don't build up a story beforehand. I always leave it. Even if it's something I've been meaning to do for a long time, I do. It's minimum of research ever. Whatever happened to Judas on the other side? All right, Judas Iscariot. He hung himself, didn't he? What happened? Okay, so we can have a look at that. Iscariot, yeah. Okay, I'll just go back here and see if anyone. Hi, Teresa Balthasar asked a question while I was busy yapping or hunting down hubby. Yeah, I'd like to have fun with it. I watched another video the other day which had people who disappeared, the height of their, you know, and just disappeared, were gone. And these were celebrities. How about the green rock that was found on Mars? I haven't read about that. Do they know what it's made of? Interesting. So yeah, I do just I do enough to get a basic grab. You were in Sedona last night and saw the lights from the aliens. Why are they there? What are they doing? Aliens in Sedona.
Yes, come get your coffee.
Thank you, my darling.
There you go. It's very hot. Yeah.
Oh, you've given me your Mandalorian mug. Aren't you sweet? Hey?
Okay.
Well, he blushed. You blushed. Such a cute colour. Hey, sweetie, could you turn this light on too, please? Reach from behind the thing. Thank you. Do aliens really live inside the moon? Let's see. I'm getting a no, but we'll explore that now. What connection do they have with the moon? I'm getting a no, they don't live inside there, but that doesn't mean they don't have. What's the Diane cult? What's going to happen with all the anti-everything laws? That is something I can certainly look at on my normal broadcasts, on my normal live streams, Clarence. So we'll put you over here, Clarence, anti-everything law. So I'll write that down now. Sticking to non-political things at the moment. But what is the Diane cult? Hi, Sheila from Inquisitive Tarot. I was watching your video, your latest video, and it's so cool. And it's lovely to see your lovely face. And yeah, so, and just time zone wise, I am GMT +8. So Greenwich Mean Time, Central +8 hours. So if you're -5, I am 13 hours ahead. If you're -4.5, I'm 12.5 hours ahead, such and such. So yeah, whoopsie daisy. And yeah, Why is our culture producing more narcissists than previous generations? Very interesting question. Narcissist. Why more than previous generations? There's some geographical and sociological factors for that, as well as, of course, psychological factors for that. But I want to see if there's anything else that's contributing to that. Which is a really interesting question. Yeah, I've got to do more. If you haven't seen the 5, it takes a bit of a slab of time or over a few, because it's 5 parts. The first one I ever did was Chappaquiddick. And I just, yeah. What else have I done? I've done a 3-parter on Amelia Earhart. I've done some disappearance mysteries, an actress who disappeared. Grace O'Malley, an Irish pirate queen. I think I may have watched, oh, no, that was somebody else instead of Sopper. But the name sounds Grace O'Malley. I'm sure I've watched something, Irish pirate queen. Did she make it to the other side? Everyone makes it to the other side, I think, but they still have to go through. Yeah. O'Malley. O'Malley. Go. Grace Irish. Irish pirate. I know there was one. Was it her? Grace O'Malley, you mean? Grace O'Malley. Yeah, she was a yeah, Grace O'Malley. Yeah. I read about her. Oh no. Oh, sorry. Yeah, she was a head of a dynasty in Ireland, and she actually was around in, I suppose she was regarded as a pirate, but she was actually a contemporary of Queen Elizabeth I. Fascinating woman. I watched a whole video on her, and it was really fascinating. So we can do a reading on Grace O'Malley on her, and she was regarded by the English as pirate, because she would definitely go and raid their vessels. Area 51. Okay, I think we have enough to go on. So, so we'll make a start. Oh, it's 20 minutes in already, so we're going to have to make a start. Yeah, oh, Sheila, is she in your family tree? Oh, I'll tell you what, there is a YouTube video on her. I think it's maybe timeline or history or one of those things. So if you look her up on YouTube, you will definitely find videos on her. And she's a rip snorter of a woman. Okay, let's see. 13th great grandmother. Wow. Okay. Cat M, you got a connection to her too? Okay. The extraterrestrial rocks. They've determined that none of the minerals came from within our solar system. So where did they come from? Obvious answer, of course, is outside of the solar system. But where outside of the solar system? Were they even in the same galaxy? So let's have a look here. In fact, I'm going to get my Voyager Tarot, which is, you know, a favourite of mine for these mystery things. Sorry it's taken so long, and people who are watching who don't comment and who have been so patient, thank you so much. It doesn't normally take me so long to get started. I normally try to get started around the 10-minute. So, having not done a list, I needed to get a few. So let's have a look here. Guides of the highest truth and compassion. Please help me find clarity and insight into the extraterrestrial rocks. With the origin. It's sort of, you know, the Big Bang going, ooh, I got the picture of the Big Bang going, ooh, and sort of like an offshoot going in one direction. 9 of Cups, fulfillment. What does the images tell me? Wishful thinking. There's still so much about our solar system that isn't known. And the word that went through my mind was wishful thinking. And that They are in our solar system. They just haven't been found. Child of Cups. There's been indications of them. So looking, that they need to look back. They need to look back. Back in the research, back, they have come up before, but a very, very long time ago. They need to go further back into the rock record. Whitby, you're a good boy. They need to go back, feel it, like it's somebody way back, and it's like hundreds of years ago, wrote something about these types of rocks. So the ones that were found recently, they've been found elsewhere as well, and but very small samples, and there is some other writings on them, but they've been sort of hidden. Well, not hidden, lost to time. But also they need to go further back into the geological record. 10 of crystals, delusion. Yeah, they're there's a little bit of fibbing going on about these rocks. Delusion. A little bit of lying. 10 of crystals. And it's all about the combination of the rocks too, the combination of the mirror. It's not so much the minerals themselves, it's how they're combined that that combination isn't found anywhere else in the solar system. So I do feel like the process they've gone through here on Earth, the combination, when it arrived, the combination of what they were not common, but not unknown. They're like a bit rarer, and the combination went to a process, I think. And I think there's a few Furbies being told about they're not being available anywhere in the solar system. There's synthesis. Yeah, they've been trying to synthesize the material. There's some properties of these rocks that they've been trying to synthesize as well, working on secrets. So I think there's a few little Furbies going on about these rocks. Four of Worlds, commencement. Four of Pentacles, being kept close, commencement. Yeah. As usual, the knobs, the brainy people, they're trying to, they're being put to work on these things. Reflection, Two of Worlds. Manipulations. Yeah, look, it's not that, this is it's a bit misleading what they're saying about these rocks. It's not so much that the minerals are unknown, it's that the combination of minerals is not found anywhere else in the solar system, and it's the process, and they are rare enough as it is, but the process that they were put through, geological processes, have combined to make this combination. And it's not synthetic, it's real, but they're trying to synthesize it. They're trying to synthesize these stones because they've got some properties they'd really like to harness. So there's a bit of a cloak of secrecy and all that, and it's silly. It's just silly. It's like, well, we're going to put this out there and just say, oh yeah, look, it's a group of minerals, pretty rare, found here and there in the solar system, but not in quite great quantity. And if they'd have just left it at that, but now they're saying, oh, they've not found anywhere else in the solar system and all that. They're stoking curiosity and painting themselves into a corner as a result as well, but telling this earthy, this tale, synthesis of a tale as well. Yeah, so that's a really interesting fulfillment, and just like, yeah, wishful thinking. What they're trying to do is they're trying to stop other people or other groups of people from, they're trying to keep them looking out rather than in, so that they can distract attention from what could be done with these minerals if they had sufficient amounts, but they don't have sufficient. They have suspicions or ideas of what could be done, but they don't have sufficient amount to do anything with it. Replication, yes, definitely. Synthetic stones don't carry the memories, yeah. And they can't replicate it either. That's the problem too, is that they can't synthesize them either. Yeah. Okay. Judas Iscariot. A troubled man. Judas Iscariot, God at the highest. I don't believe people get sucked down into the depths of hell. I don't have the traditional belief of heaven and hell and all that. Purgatory, maybe to some extent. Fortitude, strength, Two of Swords, Crossroads, Five of Cups, loss and regret. Well, that's certainly strength. Ten of Swords. This is quiet strength and infinite patience. Ten of Swords on top of that. Betrayal, the ultimate betrayal, betrayal that leads to death. Crossroads. But I mean, he very much regretted what happened, made a decision, and it ended up in him retreating, falling back, and doing something that he deeply regretted. He was never able to come to terms with it, left him in an emotional state that, like a child, but his level of emotional maturity was he was not really that complex. Well, he was a complex person. He was impulsive. He was physically strong. Exposure, Sun. King of Pentacles, corruption, Queen of Pentacles. Yeah. Depths of despair, heights of the sun. I suppose a lot of people might call him bipolar these days, but it's sort of like I'm talking about Judas Iscariot here. Momentum, movement towards a new balance and happiness. Look, yeah, look. he was not an emotionally and mentally stable person as it was. He could go down into the depths of despair and then to the heights of happiness. As I said, these days he'd probably be termed bipolar, severely bipolar. He was physically strong, but he was caught up in the momentum and the manipulation of others who saw him as weak, physically strong but mentally weak. Cried and he wept. But he had a role to play. Person of quiet strength. He knew this is, of course, this is Jesus. If we're to look at the events surrounding this man's death, and he did exist as a person. He was a very smart, savvy, kind person who changed the world. Judas, he did cross over, and he's found a level of restraint and balance that he didn't achieve in his physical body. He was caught up in manipulations and a momentum of basically an empire that was losing its grip on many, many areas at the time. And he got swept along. He punished himself much more for his actions than anyone else could have. And his name has always been associated now with the traitor. But he himself, daughter of reconcilers, he was able to sit down and see without the burden of an unstable mind and a strong body. But it took a while. It took a long while. Has he ever come back? Making the same mistakes. Has he ever come back? Seven of Wands. He stood his ground. No. Can't set the boundaries. I don't think he's ever come back. But I'm not a medium. So all I can read is the story that the cards tell me. I don't hear this person talking to me or anything. It's the words that I get leaping off the cards at me. And yeah. Yes, he did pass. He did cross over. He did cross over into a better place. But it took a heaven knows how long. for him to come to the balance that he was denied, the balance. And he had no control over his body at times too, which was the bipolar part, where the rage and having this physical being that you can use as a weapon. He didn't want to come back. They offered him the chance to go back and right wrongs or learn again, and he doesn't know. Could he come back? I suppose if he wanted to, but no, at this stage, his decision it was then and it's still to this date final. So yeah, very interesting. He was able to attain a balance and a harmony that he never could. He was forgiven, I think. He had to be taken through and come to an understanding of what happened, why he did what he did. And that took a long time for him to finally reach that level of harmony. And he hasn't come back, no. Okay, that was Judas Iscariot. That was interesting. And never evil, never evil. Weak-minded in a way that was not understood at the time. Not really understood, except that they could say, if this is a man, we can, you know, because he goes within himself and he gets very insecure. Hi, Anne H., Sandra Henderson, Ronald, Christine Thomas. So, yeah, no, that was really interesting. The question was, did he part, you know, what happened when he passed? And if I haven't said hello, hi Georgie Moon, it's because I haven't seen your name. Okay. Green rocks on the moon. Green rocks found on Mars. Sorry, Mars. Let's see. I don't really know much about these things. Are there many? Let's have a look. List of rocks on Mars. He eventually came to an understanding of the part he played. And an acceptance. Ah, yeah, okay. Perseverance Road. What's with the green rocks? So they've just been found, hey? Copper. (2020) odd green rock on Mars. Doesn't look that odd to me. It looks like copper. Spotted a green tinged rock sitting on the surface of the red planet. I mean, just from looking at it and remembering my basic geology that I know, it looks like copper. Well, it's got some copper. It is causing a flurry of communication. Nine of Pentacles. They are going to find out what it is. I do feel it's like minerals that have been here on Earth that people have been able to use, build fortunes on and things like that. The Hierophant. Yeah, I mean, I'm quite sure the rover has to have a spectrometer on it, a mass spectrometer. Yeah. It is definitely a very resourceful mineral. They've already discounted at least 10 things it could be. But momentum, they're definitely looking at it. I do think they know that it is mostly copper. That's what I think they know. They're just not saying that. Yes, it usually occurs from oxidation here on Earth. But we've got the 6 of Cups here, past, in the past. Who's to say that oxidation did not occur on Mars in the very distant past? And I think they'd be justified in coming to that conclusion. It is proof that Mars once had a viable oxygen atmosphere. That's what's so exciting about it. It is definitely going to increase the momentum of interest in Mars. It had, within the scientific community and all that, very big impacts. But it's also really, really piqued the interest of people. Anyone with a geology degree can see that that green is quite possibly, you know, some copper there. Just looking at the picture, I'm getting water, water, water. Water weathering. Yeah. I mean, they are crying with victory within certain areas of NASA or wherever, and they feel that it's definitely a reward for effort. Ships are coming in. They want to move on from it quickly and put it to bed, so to speak. They're excited about it, but they don't want. It's really ridiculous why they want to keep things to themselves. Jenny Malley, hello. They want to put it into the background. Look, I do feel they've discounted a lot of things that aren't in it. That blue is interesting. I do think it's going to be quite important, and they're sort of trying to push it into the background for now. Let's go off and see what else it can find. It's going to be quite important, I think, in that it it's going to be an interesting. Look, I'm sure its position's been marked. If there isn't a mass spectrometer on rover, I'd be really surprised. And there's only been a couple of days since the pictures have come out, but I think they will figure out what it is. And I do think it has some copper, and I do think it's going to be significant, and that it's another brick in confirming that Mars once had an oxygen base, or an oxygen, nitrogen, whatever, an atmosphere similar to Earth's. You're moving, Anne. Okay, what's next on the list, guys? Let's have a look. What's next on the list? Aliens. Aliens in the moon. Okay. I don't think there are aliens in the moon. I just don't get that. Do aliens have ties to the moon? An interesting one. Do aliens have ties to the moon? Oh, thank you, Laura Carlson. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. I've got the Essential Tarot, this deck. So, Anna Makeda, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. So, what the tie? Do aliens have? What is their relationship to the moon? Born in Atlanta. You're in Florida now. And well, good luck with your move, Anne. And I hope you'll be able to join us, rejoin us soon after you get settled. Where are you moving to? Let's see. Extraterrestrial relationships to the moon. Panama City. Where's that? Is that elsewhere somewhere in Florida or? Extraterrestrial aliens relationship to the moon, the High Priestess. There's a lot of worship associated with the moon, the High Priestess. You're moving to Northwest Florida. Okay. There's a lot of worship and with hidden wisdom associated with the moon. Over many, many years, this is the Knight of Pentacles. Offerings. Knights often come bearing offers. Over many, many years, offerings were made of resources to the moon by people. King of Wands, renewal, leadership. I sort of getting this picture of stars appearing to come from the moon. So ancient peoples, depending on where they were, especially in the Celtic areas and that Celtic belt, for some reason the moon had more importance than the sun. I mean, the sun was important, but the moon was hidden wisdom and hidden secrets. And I get the moon often appears in the sky while it's still light. And I get the picture of people looking up and seeing like possibly ships, but they did not know that at the time. And they're appearing as light, moving light in the sky, coming down. And possibly being taken or being thought of as gods or visitors coming down. And these visitors they're basically assigned to gods, moon gods, sun gods, all different sorts of gods associated with the moon and the sun. But the moon especially, because it could be seen when the sun was out, but the sun couldn't be seen when the moon was out. So the moon had this extra mystical power. I've looked up into the sky and I've seen a moon and it's still daylight. You know, you can see the moon there. And these are basically ships. I think the moon was, some people say, oh, they used it as a base or this or that. They definitely used it as a way to hide, to not be seen, the dark side of the moon, so that they could not be seen by those looking, especially not so much place to gather. You go here, you go here, you go here, that sort of thing. A place to gather and communicate. You go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. And they go off in different directions. And some would be other places in the solar system, some would be down to Earth. And in that way, it's sort of, they may have landed and then taken off. Thank you, Marie Sutton. Thank you very much. Knight of Swords. definitely at times cause much chaos. Okay, when the more scientific and investigative minds, when the technology develops so that they could look closer at the moon, and it's been quite a few hundred years, you know, that they could get a closer look at the moon. And they stopped from, you know, being around this side of the moon and basically flipped to the dark side where they could, you know, and often things that have been thought of as shooting stars have not been shooting stars, they have been ships. But that investigative, keen investigator, in order to avoid the keen and the people charging in to investigate, sort of, they've gone to more and more remote places. Five of Cups, loss and regret. So people would offer up their resources. It's sort of, the relationship to the moon was sort of like a, let's stop and decide who's going where sort of thing. Like you're doing an investigation, a supernatural investigation in a haunted house. You go down up to the haunted room B, you go down to the basement, that sort of thing. Anxiety. They've got a few times to being discovered, like actually really being discovered, before they wanted to be. So they had a cooking. But, you know, you've got the nights over time. They were slowly built up with offerings, you know. And then we've got the King of Wands with renewal, and it was thought to be renewal, the longest day, the shortest day, renewal. Much to do with renewal as well. And then the investigation. It's sort of like the relationship with the moon is not so much an observation place, but, you know, a hub. Six of Pentacles, sharing, and they come back, they'd share information. It was sort of a convenient place where it was close, but they could hide behind it on the dark side. Seven of Wands, they could stand there. And through this activity, many religious beliefs built up over time. Offerings of messages, offerings of resources. Seven of Wands, people standing firm in their beliefs. Also, it was used as a place to try and stand their ground, but for many years it was where they were. If they weren't down here, but not actually on it in itself, you know, it's like a stopping place. But of course, as we venture further and further out, their boundaries have had to be changed. So it's no longer a place they can stop and observe from safely. So they've had to change the boundaries. They've lost a few people. They've lost a few ships and stuff as well. Loss and regret. I think there's at least one species that they don't go there. The relationship is, this is a place of loss for us. So I don't know. Eight of Swords. They're sort of, by using it so often, painted themselves into a corner. And then they've had to retreat because it's attracted a lot of attention to the moon, but also the shared knowledge. And I think I also used it in a way to share knowledge with people. It's really interesting. Six of Cups for a long time. It's been a vehicle for them to, not just a physical vehicle to hide behind, but also a vehicle for them to communicate in different ways, with offerings of this, or people offering up this to the gods, the moon god, or this, or having this summer solstice, winter solstice, all that sort of stuff. They also used it in a way to communicate and educate and share. It's really interesting. There's at least one like that. No. Loss and regret. Wish they'd never gotten to there. So heaven knows what that's about, but that's a different story. But yeah, it's I think they used it when they realized that the people down here were seeing their ships and thinking they were gods coming to Earth and things like that. But they used it in a way as communication as well, and associated it with the moon. Well, that's alien connection to the moon. I suppose, yeah, but they had to pull back because of the human curiosity. There's no basis within the moon. There's nothing like that. Thank you. That is our doorbell ringer going off. I should unplug it because we don't have the doorbell up. It still goes off. That I just say thank you. Acknowledge. If it was unplugged and went off, then I would really freak out. But I've just accepted it. It goes off sometimes. It's just like, yeah. Okay, that is the moon. Aliens, moon. I don't. Area 51. Development, but using technologies that might not necessarily have originated here. But I don't think they keep anything extraterrestrial there, but I do think they develop. And so they keep things elsewhere. They keep things elsewhere. They've been moving things from it for years because people have been they used to keep things there. Area 51. Do they still keep alien artifacts there? The Emperor, Four of Pentacles. It's still a place of secret. Still a place highly ruled and rigid. The Emperor, rule of law, like the hierarchy within it is really important. The Fool, beliefs, people's beliefs and faiths and what they have there. People aren't, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're foolish. It's just that the leap of faith that they have about things being there. I think, yeah, they used to keep things there. Ace of Pentacles. They've gotten a lot of funding. Page of Cups. It would be some highly surprising news that could come out of it. But again, it's very institutionalized. The ships come in. They definitely use it for developing technology. King of Wands. Renewal of strength. Creativity, ideas. They have very smart people there who are full of ideas, and a lot of ideas and technology are brought to ultimate maturity there. Seven of Swords. It's very tapped out because people not only just try to get in to see, people try to get in to steal. Group. There's more than one country that works within Area 15-1. Hermit, isolate things, keep things in the background, but they're isolated. Page of Pentacles, slow. A lot of the development has been slow. I don't think they really keep very much there in the way of any alien technology or extraterrestrial technology there anymore. I do think that's been moved. Four of Swords moved into the background. The Chariot, here we are, movement, momentum movement, and it's been going and going. But this is also momentum, and they've also, yeah. And here's the movement thing again. Yeah, I definitely feel like Area 51, it's more of an area of development now. They do have still have some things floating about around there, but most of the stuff that people want to see has actually been moved elsewhere. Heaven knows where. Definitely at least 3 agencies or 3 groups working through there. Yeah, because people are getting more and more curious, they've moved a lot of the stuff. And now it's mainly now more of a development hub. Thank you, Judy Malley. That's Area 51. Narcissist. Why are there more narcissists now than there have been in generations? Now, there are many people who have a diagnosis of some narcissistic tendencies. That means that they have some narcissistic traits, but not all. And it can be part of their diagnosis, and it can, make them sometimes hard to be around and be with. There are some people like that, but who are generally good people. They don't really, yes, they can be a bit hard to live with, but they're good people. They work hard. Some can be manipulative. So so there's that aspect of society with people who have some narcissistic tendencies as part of their personality. And I think everybody in the world has at least one narcissistic tendency. Okay. Night, Judy, and thank you very much for your support. And yeah, I'll see you later, Melinda. Shut the phone off in case of ripping off later. Okay. Yeah, if you don't like the super chat and you do want to donate, you can donate at PayPal, just and use my email, which is footprinttarot, all one word, at gmail.com. Okay, I know that some people don't like using the YouTube, so you can donate through PayPal at footprinttarot, all one word, at gmail.com. Double T, FOOTPRINTTAROT. Lots of T's. I tried to put it on my About page the other day, actually, and it would not do it. So there's my email for PayPal if you don't like using YouTube. Okay, let's have a look here. Oh, narcissism. First, we'll get rid of some of the sociological or the demographic things. More people in the world. There's going to be more people with narcissistic tendencies and things. The full-on narcissist, again, the high population, it's probably the same percentage of people. It's just more because there's more people. So what would have been with a population of 1 billion, say 50 narcissists, full-on narcissists. With a population of 5 billion, it's 250 narcissists, that sort of thing. The type of narcissist we're talking about is, so that's the demographic. You know, increased population, increased percentage of a certain factor. We're not, and it's not racial or anything like that. It's, or is it? Don't know if race plays it. Narcissists, belief in themselves can be a narcissistic tendency. But if that's the only tendency you have, your belief in yourself and your ability to move forward, that can be a good thing. But the belief that you can do no wrong, no matter what you do, that's a bad thing. So it's, yeah, like I said, I think all of us probably have at least one, if not possibly two, of what's listed as a narcissistic tendency. Sociologically, especially of late years with social media, the reach of these people has been expanded. So they have become more widely known and they have a wider influence than they used to have. Don't think it's racial. To tell you the truth, I have not heard of very many. Most of the narcissists, the really malignant narcissistic people I've heard of, in modern days at least, have been, well, why? But there have been narcissists of other races all throughout history. So, yeah, I think and again, I think it could be a demographic thing as well. You know? No, I think everybody has the ability to be, the potential to be narcissistic. Yeah, I can think of a few rappers I definitely call narcissists as well. But then I can think of plenty of other people I'd call narcissists as well. It was really interesting. I don't think there's a racial bent to it. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you very much. My coffee fund. Thank you. So what is it with, there's more to this? What is contributing to the rise of narcissists, malignant narcissist? I really, really appreciate all of the support you guys show me. It's amazing, and I'm humbled by it. Page of Pentacles, offering. Pages of messages. They're at the bottom of the, if you were to go into the court levels, they're at the bottom. So if we were to take the court levels and just associate them with working your way up a corporate ladder, you know, the guys at the bottom, the average workers, they're often the young people who start at the bottom and work their way up. So a lot of narcissists actually work hard to get where they are. They put in a lot of hard work and they believe in themselves and they're smart. A lot, not all of them. They're either smart and incredibly intelligent, or they're shrewd, which is another kind of intelligence. It's not, shrewdness isn't book smart. It's being able to read people and read situations. I'm going to do around this card. So they see nothing wrong with taking from others. They feel it's their due. So that other people's efforts as well. It's like, well, you know, there's nothing wrong with me taking from. This is the malignant narcissism. So what's contributing? And they often see themselves as sticking it to the man, the Robin Hood thing, like taking from the rich and giving to the poor. But in this case, they just take from the rich and they'll take from the poor. So they see themselves as sticking it to the man, sticking it to the establishment and taking from the establishment. They don't share. Oh, yeah, they are very good at presenting themselves as something they're not. There's a whole string of this attitude. I mean, self-help books can be good, but they haven't helped in that they emphasize this self-belief message, which is good. But you emphasize that message to people who already have unbridled belief in themselves. It just doubles it, if you know what I mean. But that doesn't mean that self-help books do not create narcissists, by the way. I'm not saying that. But it's those sort of messages. They are also fed those messages, and they feed those messages to themselves. But often also, I think that they feed those messages to themselves because they're not getting those messages from home. Narcissists aren't necessarily born in, you know, the malignant narcissist. They're not necessarily born in bad homes. Some of them are. But I think when they're growing up, a lot of them are in environments that don't encourage them. They constantly trying to prove themselves because criticism. They're being told, you're nothing. You'd be nothing without us or without me or this or that, which is cruel. But there are people who go out, who grow up with that, and they go out and they prove themselves and they're not malignant narcissists. So but that environmental aspect plays a part of it. They want to prove that what they're told is not true. But to an extent that, you know, a person who takes that and doesn't believe it and goes and works and proves themselves, they're not necessarily a narcissist. You know, it wasn't true. And it's not always done with cruelty, those comments. It's like, oh, just, you know, just the way they are, or, you know, we know they're not going to be able to do much, or, but negative, they get negative feedback from people that they want attention from. They don't get attention from people. There are people who get attention from their parents, and it could be in the form of negative feedback. And you're like, well, I'll prove you wrong. or this or that. And again, they don't grow up to be narcissists. This is also people who don't feel they get the attention they need from anyone, even if they do. So in some aspect, there's an environmental factor of it. But these are also people who once they get into a position of power, once they work and they get to that position of power, they still suffer anxiety. There's also this deep they acknowledge the truth. They have this thing that says they know that they're a fraud underneath it all, but they will not allow that to come true. And they get themselves into the state where they honestly believe what they are. They're a fraud because they're not what they are. And there's always that aspect that they're going to be found out. And they will do anything not to be found out. Knight of Swords. So you don't investigate these people. But they will investigate and they will cause chaos to get their own way. They don't care who they hurt because there's a really good sociopathic aspect to malignant narcissists. So they will cause chaos and they will dig and, get dirt on people and cause chaos, and they don't care who they hurt. And this is media and resources as well. Their reach is so much more. Page of Swords. Page of Swords. Spreading lies and deceit. Embattled. Nine of Wands. So there's always this anxiety. But they also always have this belief. You see the victory wreath on this one. They always have the belief that they will win in the end. So they never give up the battle to win. And they thrive on conflict. And they thrive on creating conflict. And the fact is that they have such drive, it brings them into the public light more and often, unfortunately, into positions of power. Why is there so much more? I don't think there are so much more than there used to be. I think there's pretty much the same percentage. I am 100% on that with regard to things. But their reach is higher. Thank you, Sean Muller. Hello, how are you? They always feel like justice should be on their side. They have this huge belief that justice is on their side in anything they do. But basically, and to them, family is important to them as a way of carrying on their legacy. There's no real love for family there. And often it's in a family environment where this is a lot of this as a genesis. But It doesn't happen unless there's something else present. Materialism. There's this disconnect with them. This is materialism. This is the devil. There's this disconnect with them. You can notice that this person has material things attached to their limbs. Everything that they could reach out and touch people with is connected to resources. The person is standing in the background behind the rainbow, looking sad. I cannot connect with this man. I cannot connect with this person. They lack that spark of connection, that empathetic connection with other people. They can fake it, but they don't have it. And the increased focus on materialism gives them an increased focus on what to reach for. Thank you, Crazy Cat Lady Farley, and hello. They know right from wrong. They just don't care anymore. And they're not mentally ill. Well, I suppose you would be classed as a malignant narcissism is classed as a mental illness, but by many people. There seems to be so much more because of the modern day era of communication as well, their outreach and stuff. Televangelists, I think they're not all, but I think there are definitely a few televangelists who are malignant narcissists. But their reach, they're savvy in getting their reach out. So modern media, modern social media in the last 20 years, of course, it's even more so. Their reach has increased through modern social media, and that seems to think there's more and more and more. And there are more because of there's more population. But yeah, they're just more visible than they used to be. A lot of these people were heads of huge like huge, big, multi-million-dollar companies and all that way back. And what was that movie, There Will Be Blood, with Daniel Day-Lewis, which I've never watched, but I've seen that scene with the milkshake. I like, take your milkshake. And it's like, bloody heck, that's the sort of person who built a lot of these mega corporations. And that were seen as ruthless, and they are ruthless. So they were there and they were prominent, but they weren't recognized for what they were at that stage too. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, Grace O'Malley. What can the cards tell me about Grace O'Malley? She was a very powerful woman. Now, I'm a little bit of a disadvantage here because I have watched I have watched a documentary on her. So I do know something. She's very strong and all that. But let's have a look at Grace O'Malley. She was a contemporary of Queen Elizabeth. She even went to the court. Now, these cards are so cool. In fact, they're called vice versa. And so here we have justice. But instead of having the same back for every card, you turn the card around and you've got the back view of the card, the back view and the front view. So it's awesome. So what I'm going to do is and I haven't used these cards before, so I'm just going to do, I love them, they're gorgeous, beautiful imagery, just amazing. So these are the first times I'm using these cards, and I look at them and oh, Grace O'Malley would be ideal. She did go and see Queen Elizabeth. So let's explore Grace O'Malley, the female Irish chieftain and a pirate, yes. Well, she was considered a pirate, but to her mind, she was just taking what she considered her due, what was owed to her for people going through her territory. So, Grace O'Malley, guides of the highest truth of compassion, thank you for helping me. Included insight into the life of Grace O'Malley, the chieftain from Western Ireland, contemporary of Queen Elizabeth I. Yeah, sorry I took so long to get to it. You know me, I get pretty deep. Okay, so okay. I'm closing my eyes because they've got pictures on the back and front. Closing my eyes, okay, and drawing. I'm going to draw 3 cards and then we'll build from there, okay? So 3 cards, right. Okay. The 8 of Wands is very interesting because on one side it's clear skies and on the other there's thunderous skies and lightning, and this is the side that's come up. If she was angered, you knew about it. She was known, feared for her temper, and she would be quick with retribution. Quick with retribution. She was also a woman who was not happy with the way things were. You can see the other side of the car. There's a ship in the background, ship sailing away. But on here, this person's looking out. They're looking at that ship and they are not happy. This is the Four of Cups. She felt that her people and herself were being taken from, robbed. She felt that they were being left out in the cold. Okay? This is interesting because on the flip side of this is it's inside the church and there's a person there too and he's got warm fire but his head's still in his hand. Either way you look at this, there is despair. I think there's a bit of the grass is greener about this card. Things are not as they seem on the inside. This person's feeling trapped, but feel trapped by everything. They have everything, but they're still feeling trapped and in despair. This person is feeling in despair. And they have nothing. They're not necessarily trapped. But she definitely felt her people were being left out in the cold. She didn't feel weighed down. She felt like cheated. She was very, very she was a very smart businesswoman. She was very good with trade. She was very savvy. She had everything she needed to rule and to manifest what she wanted, but she still felt like she didn't have enough or her people didn't have enough. Yeah, she was very strong, very patient. And she wasn't afraid to face people head on. Next three cards. The Empress. But she felt that the agreement she had with England, that they were not being honoured, that the Empress, basically in this case, Elizabeth I, had turned her back on their agreements. That she was a rich woman too in her own right. And she was sitting pretty and she had everything she needed. But she also felt that the message she wanted to get across, that when most times She wasn't the most charming of orators. She was very forthright. And you were with her or you were against her. This was my way or the highway. So if you became an enemy of hers, she would turn her back on you. And woe and betrayal. Quick to anger, quick to anger. Dirty. She really honestly believed that she had a lot of the Celtic beliefs, but she believed she was destined to join the sun when she died. Interesting. The tower. Ace of Cups. Blocked emotions. She held back her emotions a lot. If you were her enemy, she would strike you down and she would tear your kingdom apart, basically. At least if you were in Ireland. She was a really tough woman and she blocked a lot of emotion. She believed that she had to be strong. I can't remember what happened to her. Interesting, because the flip side of this card is a young person facing the cups. And the side that facing up here is the shooting star, hope for the future. And this person is walking away from the cups. Older, having lived a full, long life. She had faith of where she was going. And she felt that she could confidently face her maker and the judgment when she died. She had no qualms about the life she lived. She fought for her people, not always in the right way. She was a powerful person. She had her enemies who wanted to undermine her and strike her down, and and she had no hesitation in striking them down either. But she also felt like her people were being left out in the cold and shortchanged. But at the end, she stepped boldly. When she did die, she was ready to go. She was confident that she could meet the judgment of her maker, and that everything that she was justified in everything she did. She honestly believed that. Fiery woman. She does sound very formidable. Again, this is just what I get of her life. It's not what she tells me, it's what the cards tell me. I'm not a medium, so when I do read about somebody, it's interpretation of what the cards tell me. So I don't talk to them, I don't hear their voices. To me, their story comes out in the cards. Oh, yeah, she was quite elderly when she died. Yeah, I think so. Okay, my darlings, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to leave it there because it's just hit the 2-hour mark. Thank you for joining me today. Tomorrow night we'll be back with looking at the usual. Definitely going to be doing a catch-up on syndrome there, Matt Gates and other things. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the support you've shown me today. Wow, I cannot believe it, and I'm very humbled by it. And I hope you have all enjoyed it. And please, I will do another Monday Morning Mysteries probably for May, sometime in May. I am planning to do another pet special in a couple of weeks on a Friday night. So thank you again. I love you all. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay loving, and stay strong. Thank you. Bye-bye.